Welcome to the Life During and After GLP-1 podcast. I am your host, Daryl Perry of Your Level Fitness. And what we are talking about today is what to expect during your first month on a GLP-1. Now, as I have said in both episodes to this point, talk to your doctor about all of this. My hope is with this podcast and any of the information that I put out is it helps you have things to talk to your doctor about when you're meeting with them, when you're messaging them. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot, and it's very overwhelming. So that's also why I try to keep these to be relatively short episodes. I say that I try to give you 3 points to talk about, because I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff. So that's one. The other thing with what we're about ready to talk about, there's going to be some you're probably going to notice some really fast changes with stuff that you've struggled with for a very long time. There's going to be a lot of excitement around that, but also try as best you can to give yourself grace and permission to figure this stuff out, because it very likely could be a lot of changes right up front. And number one, your appetite's likely going to change quickly. So, how often you eat, how you feel about food, just, like how often you're thinking about it. It's going to change. Like you've been a snacker most of your life. Well, you don't want snacks anymore. Maybe you've been a breakfast person. You don't want breakfast anymore. Maybe you've been a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks person, and now you're just struggling to want to eat anything. So this can change things rapidly for you, which sounds great. And it is very exciting if you look at it from one point of view, but it's also something that anytime something rapid happens, you got to give yourself some grace, give yourself some time to catch up. The other thing, your portion sizes, you're not going to be as hungry. Portion sizes are going to change. The pace at which you're eating. So I did have it. So I've done a lot of roles in the fitness space over the last couple of decades, online and in person, brick and mortar. I guess we'll call it brick and mortar. That's what we used to call it back in the day. But one of the habits I started doing habit-based coaching online, where I really got to get online. And a foundational habit that what we talked about is not only your portion size, but one of your big ones is how fast are you eating? So if you're somebody that used to eat a meal in 3 to 5 minutes and now it's like 7 to 8 or 10 to 12, or you don't want to eat as much and it's taking you much longer to eat, that's going to be something to adjust, to work on as well. And by the way, if you're trying to, this is a huge thing, like how fast you eat can in many cases determine how much you're going to eat. So it's always a cool idea if you want to play with this to just set a stopwatch on some of your, it doesn't have to be every meal, but maybe you notice that you typically take 8 to 10 minutes to eat a meal, or 10 to 12 or whatever. And then you would be amazed if you're like, I want to stretch this out to just a couple minutes longer. It gives your mind and body a little bit more time to connect. And that will also change some things with portion control. But anyway, I wanted to throw that, just talking about that apparently. But number two, your portion sizes and your eating pace will change. And then number three, and we're talking about a lot of the same things because you're going to need to be reminded of them, but the mental and emotional adjustment is going to be just as wild as getting used to what you're how fast you're seeing the scale go down with some of this, or if the scale isn't going down as much as you thought it would. And that could be for a number of factors. Talk to your doctor about that. But just from a logical standpoint, if you're taking a lower dose right now, you may not start to see the big dramatic weight loss until month 2. Maybe what we're talking about here as your first month, maybe you don't experience this until month 2 or 3. So as always, again, talk to your team of medical professionals and realize that your experience with any of this stuff is going to be unique to you, which is a good thing, even though there will probably be some similarities. You may not, things aren't going to be systematic, checking the box, but giving time for your mind to catch up to your body with everything that's going on. Oh my gosh, it's very, very, very important. And the other thing that I'll just remind you, it's you're going to look at the scale and you're going to be very excited about the amount of weight that you're losing. Everybody likes to see the scale go down. I don't care who you are. I get on the scale, I see it go down, I get excited. The problem is you don't want to get yourself into a trap that once things start to slow down or stall, you don't want that to drag you down mentally as you're trying to do this. You got a lot of changes mentally and emotionally that you're dealing with. And you definitely don't need to add the big one that so many people have always fallen into on the weight loss journey, which is letting the not only the total amount of the results you're getting, but the speed of which you're getting results determine how you feel about the process. Again, you're building, if you're taking the Your Level Fitness approach, the YLF approach, you're looking at building an inside out life while you're doing this, which just means you are working to appreciate who and what you see in the mirror at every single stage. But give yourself time with this. So that is what I have for you today. Again, I always want to hear your thoughts. Email me, Daryl at yourlevelfitness.com. That's DARYL at yourlevelfitness.com. If you want some more information on what's going on with YLF, resources, all kinds of tools, things that to help you do all this stuff, check out yourlevelfitness.com. And that's what I have for you. So thank you as always for listening and watching. And I'll talk to you again real soon.